Thank you for the kind words, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. So my topic is neuroadaptation. Neuroadaptation has emerged as a hot topic for cataract and refractive surgeons as we observe patients challenged by presbyopia correcting lenses. While many patients adapt quickly and successfully to these lenses, some adapt very slowly or not at all.
The first click should be with the mouse. The first click. Rest you can press arrows. You can press the arrow here. Below. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So modern lens surgery aims to accomplish ambitious goals in visual and refractive outcomes. So addressing pseudophakic presbyopia is an important topic in the practice of modern cataract surgery, specifically in refractive lens exchange. So one of the main treatment modalities of pseudophakic presbyopia are the multifocal lenses. And the main challenge for multifocal lenses is that they use a non-physiological optical method to improve near vision. By definition, multifocal lenses separate light into different foci, and this causes a dispersion of the energy of the light entering into the eye. So this results in a change in the physiology of vision as the light follows a different focal performance at the level of visual axis and consecutively at the level of retina. So it is necessary for our brain to activate a process of neuroadaptation, the capability of the brain to adapt to changes, to adjust to the neurophysiology of the changes that are induced by the quality of the retinal image by the dispersion of light due to the multifocal lens. So with multifocal lens, like I was saying, a focal multiplicity is introduced to the visual system long before the sixth order, and this presents the visual cortex with an unprecedented challenge. Our established neural circuits are not wired to process a monocular image that is partially focused and defocused. So our eye works in such a way that it processes only one image, that is one image at a time monocularly. So the division of light caused by the multifocal lens induces different focal points. Thus, the brain receives simultaneously different images which has to be processed and used to focus objects. This is the reason that a visual neuroadaptation process is necessary for the brain to process the different images which are provided by multifocal optics. Failure in this will lead to the perception of glare, confusion, distortion, and the feeling of poor vision postoperatively. So neuroadaptation is believed to play an important role in determining favorable outcomes after multifocal lenses, especially with regard to positive dysphotopsias like glare, halos, and starbursts. So neuroplasticity refers to the ability of the brain to reorganize its function and structure in response to changes in the environment. So in case of multifocal lenses, it is actually a process in which the brain basically learns how to rectify the image to promptly use it so that the final perception is as real as possible. So it is important for the surgeon to take time to discuss this before the surgery, as a patient should know that sometimes it takes time to achieve good vision. Visual neuroadaptation in multifocal lenses is more difficult and may be time consuming, and it is dependent on individual factors, dependent on the type of the lens that was used, on the higher aberrations that are produced by the lens, and also on the individual patient itself. So one of the variables is age. Younger patients adapt quickly than older ones. So another thing highlighted by the adaptation problem associated with multifocal lenses is the reality that a visual system has two distinct components: the optical system that alters light before it reaches the retina, and the neurological system which processes this information. Sometimes neuroadaptation is very fast, like how we adapt to light or dark, but some types of adaptation happen very slowly over weeks or months. So the slow adaptation results from neural plasticity, which, like I was saying, is an alteration in the anatomical connections or synaptic properties due to neuronal activity. So this study by Rosa et al. Used functional MRI to evaluate the association between dysphotopsia and neural responses in visual and higher level brain regions. They stated that in patients with who had multifocal lenses implanted recently had increased activity of cortical areas dedicated to visual attention and effortful action, which is represented by frontoparietal circuits. Increased activity was also seen in the cingulate cortex, which was responsible for procedural learning and cognitive control. And increased activity is also seen in the caudate nucleus, which is responsible for goal-oriented behavior. And patients who were bothered by visual symptoms showed even more increased activities in these areas. And such effects were not present in age and gender-matched control group of healthy participants. Hence, these they represent the initial phase of neuroadaptation. Moving on to the management of these patients, cognitive training stimuli seems to be the most effective method for the enhancement of neuroplasticity in elderly subjects. The benefit is in terms of visual performance as well as in terms of less perception of photic phenomena. So some authors propose that neuroadaptation can be hastened by visual training. However, there is no consistent evidence. Although some evidence indicates that visual training might be a possible solution for the non-adapting patients. The development of strategies that facilitate the neuroadaptation process to multifocality might be an effective strategy to reduce patients' dissatisfaction. So these studies highlight the physiological potential of video games, GABA patches, and orientation discrimination to improve as a perceptual strategy to improve visual acuity and contrast sensitivity and thus promote neuroplasticity. Visual performance after multifocal IOL implantation significantly accelerated with exercises using GABA patches or orientation discrimination. This is a pictorial representation of GABA patches, which are stimuli that drive early visual acuity in a controlled fashion. They are a series of black and white bars which can be oriented in any which way. So 2 to 3 weeks of training or 3 months of training also in certain studies have seen a significant acceleration in the visual performance. So multifocal IOL explantation and exchange should only be performed when there is no other alternative and all the causes leading to patient dissatisfaction have been properly ruled out. There is a lack of effective treatment for these complaints, leading to 4 to 12% of the cases going in for IOL explantation. This has, however, remained a drawback to the more widespread use of multifocal lenses. I would like to conclude by stating that the typical neuroadaptation process after multifocal lens implantation involves a minimum of 3 months to 1 year after surgery for the photic phenomenon to significantly improve. In summary, however, the preoperative combination of appropriate patient selection and accurate lens selection results in a good judgment and correct indication of multifocal lenses, leading to a satisfied patient. Thank you.